guys, we have to talk about California again. At the border of Northern California and Nevada, 5.3. Just shortly after I reported that there was a 5.0 with aftershocks. And we already had aftershocks. Now they're 2.5, 2.1. They keep coming in while I'm doing this video. It's Susanville. You see it behind me. This is a settlement. And guys, this is an area where you'd think, oh, is this in the interior of California? Don't worry, it's away from the San Andreas Fault. Guys, this is in an area where they just recently discovered something very dangerous. And the strange thing is, I discovered it and I was just finishing recording a video about it, and I will release that video after this one. You really have to watch it. It will come out in a few hours. The Walker Lane and the Honey Lake Fault. This is the area where these earthquakes are now happening in Susanville. And imagine, guys, that you have a river. You know, there's the Colorado River. It's huge and it has a lot of water, and you think that's the only river. And then you discover that there's another river parallel right there that carries the same amount of water. This is what is happening here. So Susanville, let's have a look at the map. So there you see the red dots. If I scroll closer, you see I'm showing you only today's earthquakes, right? So this is the 5.3. We already had the aftershocks, 2.1, 2.5, and it shows us some that were happening on December 30th. So there you see, let's zoom out a little bit. You see Nevada's here, and we've got Northern California here. We've got Redding here. We've got Reno here. They felt the shaking from the last earthquake, the 5.0, and now it's 5.3. The USGS tells us it's probably moderate damage. So if there's homes, let's zoom in there, that are not up to code. The epicenters are here in the mountainous area, but if we go down there, there's Susanville right there, and there's Johnstonville. So this is the closest settlement that we have there. And it's not super small, right? There's enough houses that could be damaged, especially since this is an area, it's like not on top of the San Andreas Fault or anything, where people are trying to get their homes updated. So this falls within the Walker Lane. The Walker Lane is over 620 miles long. It's a huge area, basically parallel to the Sierra Nevada. And it doesn't look like the San Andreas Fault. It's not one consistent fault line that you could see from aerial pictures. It consists of several fault lines, and some are very short. But here comes the but, guys. Do you remember the 2019 Ridgecrest earthquakes? Magnitude 7.1, magnitude 6.4, 5.4. This is this area, guys. This is what this area is capable of. And that's kind of scary, isn't it? And that's why we thought the 5.0 that we just had was the main shock. But was it? Was it a foreshock? Now I have the map. There you see the earthquakes in the past 7 days here. And the USGS has downgraded the 5.0 to 4.7. So you see where that was. So this is basically the same area that we have here. And these are only magnitude 2.5 plus. Let's see if we can get all of them. That's for 1 day. So you see there's the epicenters. There we have the 5.3. And again, this is an area that we should watch, because this area can produce larger earthquakes. And especially Northern California, where often people think, okay, let's move away from the San Andreas Fault. Let's move away from the Cascadia subduction zone. That basically, if you're in Crescent City in that area and then Southern Oregon, you will be shaken by that big one, the Cascadia Fault earthquake, magnitude 9 or higher, and the coming tsunami, you will be shaken by the San Andreas Fault. So if you think, let's go further inland, still California, still warm, and away from the earthquakes, then you are mistaken. And this, again, this is an area that can and will, again, produce big earthquakes. And all these little fault lines, we see some fault lines here on this USGS map, but there's way more here. It consists of many fault lines. You see here around Carson City, and of course we see a lot here, but basically this is all the Walker Lane. And it's basically parallel to the big scary guy, our San Andreas Fault, right? So it's really parallel. If you see here where this starts, San Andreas Fault starts down here. And by the way, this is the Salton Sea. That's the southern end of the San Andreas Fault, where the experts are saying this is the area that is locked and loaded and that this could be triggered first. It doesn't have to be that the whole San Andreas Fault is triggered at once. We could see this in the south. And everyone was worried about San Francisco maybe being the one that gets it first, right? So what's going on in the rest of California? Well, you see that there's a cluster here. What's going on here? There's also an earthquake swarm that we have to basically have a look at. Right now, we have the swarm that we had is today here in this area. It's a little bit more quiet, so not too much in the San Francisco area. But if we go back 30 days, we can see the San Ramon earthquake swarm. So that is also an area that can produce something bigger that would have a big influence on San Francisco. And guys, a lot is brewing in California. So if we look at the last 30 days, all the earthquakes that we have here along the culprit, and then even here along other fault lines, we've reported about that. This is not the San Andreas Fault, and this is not connected. This will not trigger the San Andreas Fault. And then, of course, here we have our big, dangerous Cascadia Fault, the Cascadia subduction zone. So, guys, this red point stands out in magnitude right now in California. And we just had another, as it seems, probably not there. Oh, that is Yellowstone, what we had here, the geysers. But we don't have to worry about Yellowstone right now, guys. So there is no indication that we have any bigger eruption or anything coming, but we can always have these small phreatic eruptions. I've just reported about one that was quite intense. I'll put it in the end screen here, but I will put in the end screen what the big Cascadia Fault and the San Andreas Fault have done together in the past and probably will do again. And guys, imagine the whole west coast of Canada and the US in disaster at once. We worry about, yeah, California has the San Andreas Fault. We don't need to worry up in Canada or in Oregon or Washington about that. Guys, you should, and vice versa. Californians are saying, yeah, Cascadia Fault, we need to be careful that there's a tsunami coming, but it won't rattle us. Well, guys, new data show something completely different. I'll put that in the end screen. The thumbnail is wiped out. You have to see this. This has happened and it will happen again. The biggest disaster maybe ever in the world. And that could destroy the complete Pacific Northwest of Canada and the US. So many construction sites, how I want to call it, that we have in California right now. And of course, this is shaking Reno in Nevada as well, right? Carson City as well. So we need to watch this. Is this a foreshock or is this the main shock now? Will we see more aftershocks? Highly interesting area that is on the watch list. So I hope you keep watching, guys. I hope you like this video. Like it, please hype it, share it with your friends. Thank you so much. Happy New Year if we don't see each other, but I hope we do. I hope I see you in more videos today if you click here, and hopefully also tomorrow, guys. Stay safe, be prepared.